Make America great again. But when was it ever great? It's a question so many people do not know the answer to. But I do, and the indigenous peoples of these lands do. America was great before Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. America was great before it was ever called America. My ancestors were gifted the privilege of being the stewards and guardians and protectors of these lands. We were a thriving people, intelligent and advanced. We had great civilizations, and the very foundation of how this country was so-called built was based off of Native American values. We lived in balance, and yes, our people had wars and skirmishes because they're human, but they never committed mass genocide. Our people practiced kinship slavery, but they never practiced chattel slavery before colonization. Our people roamed freely through these lands with no borders and free trade. They had cultural exchange, which is why so many indigenous people have many similarities to their cultures. They never appropriated. They learned from one another and appreciated each other. And then one day the old world came knocking on our door and started erasing the people of these lands. They brought their diseases, and they noticed that when a few of their sick came in contact with a few of our people, those people would die. And the first bioterrorism weapons of war were created. They would purposefully bring their sick over to these lands and insert them into the populations and cause pandemics. They would saturate blankets filled with smallpox and gift them to the people and kill off entire tribes. And while our people were dying, we had nobody to take care of the lands. And the old world destroyed what we had created. And through that destruction, our people started starving and became weaker. And when we were weak, they ambushed us in our sleep, when our men were away, and they would kill our women and our children and our elderly, causing mental strife in our men and emasculating them. And when they made us vulnerable, they had us turn against each other and promised that the death and destruction and violence would stop. And then they would stab us in the back. And when they couldn't completely kill us off, they raped our women and tried to breed out the native bloodlines. And when that didn't completely work, they pushed people onto reservations and held them prisoners on their own lands. They enslaved them. They hunted them. They butchered them. They even ate them. They stole our children and placed them into schools where their culture and language were beaten out of them, molested out of them. And when that didn't work, they killed them. Everybody wants to play the Struggle Olympics, and that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to give voice to the struggles that my ancestors and my people face because they are constantly being minimized by the entire world. The indigenous peoples of the Western Hemisphere went through the largest mass Holocaust in world history. At the low end, 56 million, at the high end, 100, in a 100-year time span. That's 560,000 to 1 million people a year, every year for 100 years. That is 1,500 to 2,700 people a day, every day for 100 years. But we're told not to call it a Holocaust. Where were the other nations who came to help us? Oh, they were busy colonizing us. Where was the World War to come and save us and protect us and help us fight against the oppressors? Oh, that World War was waged against us. And through all of that tragedy, through all of those atrocities, my people are still here. And this country will fall because it's disrespected the hosts of these lands. They came into our homes and completely took over like a virus. And when the host is completely gone, the virus spreads like wildfire. That's the dirty little secret the world doesn't want you to know. Because when the last indigenous person dies, or the last indigenous person is left without any culture, the world will own the Americas. and the world will destroy itself. Because nobody knows these homelands better than us, and these invaders do not know how to take care of it, and they will be what annihilates humanity. So unless you don't want that to happen, you should all start supporting Indigenous peoples and bringing them to the forefront, raising their voices up and letting them become the host nation once again. But if you choose not to support us, you are signing your own death warrant.